Hey guys, welcome back to the pod. This is your weekly game talk. I'm Chris.
I'm Jeff.
Uh, so this week we got a lot to talk about, but just for the past week, how you been, man? You been up to anything? Playing anything?
Yeah, we just came back from vacation, a few days off. Really needed that time with the family. Didn't do a lot of gaming while I was away, but you know, well deserved time. Um, Put a few more hours into Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. Just picking up a little bit of steam, getting to do the exploring in the dungeons and stuff like that. So it's kind of what I've been. It's hard for me to get into certain games because it's like when you start playing, you're like, all right, I know. Like, let's get past this. Let's get to the good stuff. I've done this a million times. Like, let's just get moving. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with games. Me and Chrissy are gonna try to beat Mixtape this weekend.
Awesome.
It's my daughter's birthday this weekend, so we got a lot going on. So I'm gonna try to squeeze that in a little bit. We have a lot of stuff going on, with Black Flag coming out. I hope to try that. I'm kind of jumping stuff in the backlog. I have things set the way I want to do it. I'm kind of moving things up. So now it's like everything's all over the place. So, that's really it. What about you?
Yeah, same kind of lines. Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest is a game series that I haven't played at all, which is surprising because I'm super into a lot of RPGs, but Dragon Quest just never made the list yet. But I did pick up Dragon Quest 3, the 2D HD reimagined. Yep. And at first, I didn't know how I was going to feel about it because I didn't know how going back to the 2D thing will work after you play so many modern games. But it is really, really fun.
Yep.
I was trying to, beat my way through it before Black Flag came out because I knew that would be taking up a lot of time. But I didn't get that far enough. But I did put in about 10, 15 hours.
Yeah.
It's such a good game, dude.
Those ones are the ones where they don't give you actual character names, right? You've got to kind of make your own.
Yep. So you make your own. I kind of made my own little custom party. I got me in there. I got him as a character. I got our other brother as a character. And then I had a stage character, and I couldn't really figure out a name. So I just named that person Aerith.
Yeah.
Just, Sage.
Yeah,
it kind of fits. But yeah, it's really, really good, dude. I'm it's everything you would want from an RPG. I'm already finding special swords from a dead queen and everything.
Yeah.
I fought a 5-headed dragon already, and there's always you need a special key to unlock this. I think I heard about it over there in that continent. Yeah. And I just had a blast. I'm definitely going to go back to it and hopefully beat it. Like I said, I was 10 hours in, and then I kind of looked up how long it takes to beat it. And it said 30 hours, and I was like, I was nowhere near the end.
That's the standard. The good thing about that, though, and hearing you say that is the Dragon Quest games are games I've dabbled with a little bit, but this just goes to show there's so much out there to play. This is something that if I asked you a year ago if you ever wanted to play it, I don't really have time. It's not on the backlog. It's not I don't see myself playing that. And then you get into it, and now you're like, damn, now I want to venture into some of these older RPGs, and that just adds another 1,000 hours onto your gaming backlog and stuff that you could play. If you're looking for stuff to play, that's just kind of how deep it gets.
Yeah. So that, and as you said, Black Flag just came out recently. I picked that up. That was a day one for me. I remember playing the original and loving the original.
Yeah.
And I think that was a big one that I would try to push onto you a lot. You're a pirate. I think back then, the Pirates of the Caribbean movies were also kind of around. So I would watch the movies to prepare, and then I would act like I was those pirates in the game. Yeah. Time to be Jack Sparrow. But it is amazing so far. I've only gotten a couple hours in, but the graphics, just the characters, the way that I remember them. And it's not your traditional Assassin's Creed. So the main person in the game, without spoilers, doesn't follow the code as much. And the way that you kind of become an assassin is kind of not the general way that they do it and the normal way that they do it in the other games. So it's definitely a huge, starting point for anybody who's looking to get into the game.
Yeah.
And I recommend it to anybody. Graphics alone, they just look amazing. So
yeah. So just for the show today, we've got a couple things in mind. We're gonna do our top 5 games so far this year. This is just our list. We haven't played every game that's come out this year. I have 2 games on the list personally that I have not played. I've watched reviews. I've watched people play the games. I've watched other YouTubers kind of delve into it, and kind of just based off of that, I've seen enough to kind of make that choice and make that decision. So we'll just each pick 5 games. I'm sure some of them will overlap.
Definitely.
And then at the end, we will kind of, if the game awards were tomorrow, which of these games do we think would win Game of the Year?
Yep.
So,
and that's just off our personal opinions, and we chose to do this now because there's just a little title, I'm not sure if you heard of it, GTA coming out later this year, which we're sure is probably going to sweep the Game Awards.
Or Ocarina of Time or Wolverine. Yep. There's a lot of games that have yet to come out that are probably going to take a spot in those top 6 at the Game Awards.
Definitely.
Over the ones that we have here.
Definitely.
So, if the Game Awards were tomorrow, most of these games would probably be there. By the end of the year, probably not. So,
Yep. But before we get into that, something like we said last week that we wanted to start out kind of new is our video game shout-outs.
Yep.
I picked a game, he picked a game that we just want to take a quick second and just give a quick shout-out to. And my game this week is, we talk about this series a lot on the show.
Yep.
And, I know you said that I've fallen out of it a lot, which is true. But I cannot tell you how many hundreds of hours I put into this one. And that is Pokemon Heart Gold. I remember on the DS just sitting in bed for hours, just walking around looking for shinies, doing everything that you possibly could. I think I remember this being one of the first ones where your Pokemon can follow you as you're walking around. And I loved that part of it because it just didn't feel like they were trapped inside of a Pokeball anywhere. So Heart Gold is my pick. Box art is great. I know it's harder to find Pokemon games nowadays, so I'm glad I kept on to this box and I didn't squish it by accident or anything.
It's probably worth $1,000 at this point.
Maybe, who knows? But yeah, definitely Heart Gold, one of my favorites. So yeah, what did you just decide to pick this week?
Yeah, so for me, I picked a more recent game. I went with Donkey Kong Bonanza. When this game released, I didn't know what to expect. I seen reviews prior to the game coming out, people who had early access codes that played this game. This game blew both of us away, I think.
Yeah. I never played a Donkey Kong game before that.
Yeah.
And that got me wanting to play other ones. I know they're vastly different.
Yeah.
But that was such a good game.
So when I was little, I played the original Donkey Kong. It is completely different. The Donkey Kong franchise has evolved in a way unlike any other game. The original, you're jumping around. You got to try to get up to the top, save the princess. Donkey Kong's throwing barrels. It's just a typical side.
It's like a Mario, but you're
yeah. So, and then the Super Nintendo revamped everything with Donkey Kong Country. Those are some of the funnest games I've played as far as 2D side scrollers. I love those games.
They're pretty tough too.
Yeah, very difficult in certain parts. Those mine carts would have you slamming controllers before it was cool. Like I would definitely be slamming controllers around, wondering what in the hell? How am I supposed to do this? I'm a kid.
Yeah.
And then they had other stuff on the 64 and stuff like that, but this game changed everything. You can destroy everything in this game. They let Donkey Kong be Donkey Kong. He can rip and tear, destroy everything. They know, not to spoil anything, but they do connect this game to Mario Odyssey. There's connections there.
Yep. It's just one of those games where you realize once again Nintendo kind of pushes boundaries and they're doing stuff different with their games rather than the recycle repeat that a lot of companies do nowadays.
I think this still might be in my top 3 Switch 2 games. I know it hasn't been out that long and there's not that many, great options, but I do think this is one of the top games. Had a whole lot of fun with that game. I don't know why I didn't get the DLC yet. I remember wanting more and more after I finished beating it, but yeah, if you have a Switch 2, it's definitely a good welcome title. I know most people get the Mario Kart bundle or whatever, but if you're looking for something to kind of draw you in on this console, This is one of those games where you can pick it up and just do whatever you want and get lost. You're on your own time. You don't have to, race to the end or anything like that.
Yep.
It's a great game. So yeah.
Well, those are our video game shout outs this week.
Yep.
All right. We want to get into the top 5 so far?
Yeah. You can start.
All right. We'll just go one for one here. If we have the same game on our list, we can just talk about it together. If it's your number 3, number 5, whatever.
Yep.
It's no in particular order. So I have Resident Evil 9 on there. Great game. I know we talked about it on previous episodes already, but if the Game Awards were today, it would shock me if this wasn't in there. I know usually horror titles get snubbed a lot, but it's just so much great about this game. I see it as one of people's favorite Resident Evil I've already seen. The story was solid. The graphics were incredible. Some of the best zombies that we've seen thus far. And it, just like every Resident Evil, it leaves you wanting more, out of Resident Evil. So I have that on there. I believe you also have that on your list.
Yeah, that's actually the first one that I wrote down as well. We had way too much fun with this game.
Yep.
I like you said, you just want more and more after it's over. It's one of those games where in the end you can look back and be like, man, that was kind of a long game. But while you're playing it, you just never want it to end. You're like, I hope the next area is not the last area. I hope the next area is not the last area. It's one of those games where we've played games where you think you're at the end and you're like, thank God. And then you're playing for 10 hours more. And you're like, man, like this is the opposite of that. So yeah, I don't know if you've seen this or if it's even true. I saw it a little few hours ago. There's apparently a DLC coming. I'll have to look more into that. Like I said, I just seen it from a couple different places scrolling through today. But yeah, that is definitely on the list.
Yeah. And again, I think they did so well mirroring the first person and third person in this game. Again, we're not going to dive in everything again, but I think that was a key highlight with this. And I'm interested to see if they continue that going forward.
Yep.
We know Code Veronica's coming out. I know originally that was in third person. Yep. Do they give you that option to do first person in that one? Or do they just stick to, what it used to be? But yeah, so Resident Evil 9, I think your number 2 pick is also my number 2 pick. So if you want to go into that a little.
Yeah, so for my number 2 pick, I have Pokemon Pocopia. I'm not going to keep going over and over this. When I'm thinking about the show and what we're going to say, which is all the time when I'm not doing it and I'm trying to brainstorm and think of ideas and what we're going to do, I always tell myself, like, let's try to dial back the Nintendo fanboy. Like, let's not do too much.
That's why you wore your Sony hoodie today.
Yeah, just to try to throw it off, because I do plan on glazing this game a little bit. So I just I can't say enough about this game. It's the easiest 200 plus hours I've put into a game. It's one of those things where I start doing something in this game and like it is 4 hours pass and you're like, what in the hell just happened? I get home from work, not as early anymore, but when I used to get home at 3 o'clock or 3:30 in the morning, and then I'm playing, like, let me just get an hour in. Let me just chip away at this. And then next thing you know, the birds are chirping. My wife's alarm is going off. The sun is up. And I'm like, damn. Like, I really and I don't want to put it down. Like, it's just one of those games. I'm glad that it's getting the following that it's getting with Animal Crossing and Tamagotchi Life. I was wondering how it was going to stand up. But from a lot of the groups I'm in and pages I follow, like, this game really has made an impact.
Yeah. And I think, again, a great tagline for this game is it ends at your limit of your creation in your mind. Like, you can do so much in this game. I took it over a friend's house and me and her built like 1,000 staircases, just like randomly going up to like another part of the area. And I haven't played it for a while. And then once I logged back on, I saw it. And I was like, oh, we did make that a while ago. So it's just so much fun. And like, it's just, it comes going with Sony's tagline, play has no limits.
Yeah.
And I think with this game, that shows it, of like, you can make literally anything you would want in this game. You can recreate whatever you want. You could probably make New York City if you wanted in this game.
Yeah.
That's how crazy it is. And it's just fun seeing Pokemon that you really love, Like when you finally see Charizard pop up, and that's one of my favorites. I'm like, oh, there he is! I finally have him.
Yeah.
And you can be a little biased and give him his own home and everything else while everybody else is just sleeping outside.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a really great game. Like I said, we've said plenty on it, and we could say plenty more on this game. And I think it'll go down as probably one of the best, probably Switch 2 games to ever release. So, but yeah. So, I want to dive into number 3. I know this is where we kind of verge a little bit.
Yeah. So my number 3 is Mixtape. We played a couple more hours the other night. It just gets better and better and better. I like to tie emotions to games. I like games that when I'm not playing these games, I'm thinking about these games. They're leaving a lasting impression. There are some games you play and you're like, yeah, I played that game. I don't remember a lot. When you play games like The Last of Us, or when you play games like Gears of War, or some of the Final Fantasies, there are memories that you carry with you forever. There are moments that you remember, and it's like I could put a list together of my 10 most iconic moments, and they're from those games that you get emotionally tied to. And this is just one of those games. Like you're emotionally attached to these kids, and like you want them to make all the right decisions, and like it's just like I said in our last video when I talked about this briefly, it really just like makes you think of the times you had with your friends when you were crazy teenagers, and like I said, pushing each other in shopping carts, or skateboarding down a hill, or just exploring town and going around places and stuff like that. So I just feel like this is one of those games that's very underrated. I don't see a situation where this would win Game of the Year, but if, in my opinion, like this is the kind of game that comes around once or twice a year and really emotionally drags you in. And it's not a difficult play. It's kind of simple things. It's a lot of decision-making stuff or exploring and things like that. Like we just did a part where you're skipping rocks and there's challenges. You got to hit a gnome across the lake, or you got to make it skip through a tire swing. But as we're playing and destroying things with the rocks, more things pop up. So we're in there for an hour just skipping rocks, trying to like do all this different stuff. So again, I definitely recommend it to anybody. And it's just one of those games where I feel like if you play it, you'll love it. But I do think it's very, very kind of underrated.
I like the title and the kind of play on that, because like a mixtape is a collection of songs, of your favorite songs.
Yeah.
And in the game, it kind of seems like this is our collection of our favorite memories.
Yep.
So but it dives into music as well, right?
Yeah. So these are actual bands. So I don't know how many tracks there are, but at the beginning of each segment, it'll say track 5.
Okay.
And it'll be like Blue Oyster Cult, and they'll play the song, and that'll start the next portion of the game. So, they'll start the song, and then all of a sudden it'll pan out, and you'll be in the shopping cart, and you got to push it through. There's one level where I can't remember the song, but you're just like running and like jumping really high. There's like zero gravity. It's like a beautiful field. There's woods, and you're making your way to this like abandoned house that everybody used to party at. So like that's like your Shangri-La, like you're trying to get there. There's legends about it, where everybody that's a senior, like certain people know the secret, and you're trying to get there, and you're just like flipping and flying through the air. It's just like it's so easy to play. But yeah, like each level is a different song, and it'll change it to, she'll play it in her headphones, like track 5, and then it starts. But yeah, it's definitely one of those games that stick with you.
I'll have to put that on the back burner, maybe.
Yeah,
play that. All right, that's awesome. My number 3. This was kind of like a hype train buy for me, because I wasn't planning on buying this game, but I just heard so much good stuff about it, and that's Crimson Desert.
Yep.
I'm sure everybody watching's probably heard a lot about it. And when I say there is so much stuff that you can do in this game, it's kind of on those levels of Pocopia a little bit. And yeah, the stuff that you can do is just endless. And then I see videos. I haven't gotten very far in the game, but just from what I have played and what I've seen other people talk about it, it is up there so far, 7 months into the year, that it could be, game of the year if the year ended today.
Yeah.
And I just see so many videos of stuff that I had no idea that you could even do in here, of like robots and dragons and even the device that like is used for catching fish in like the
Yeah.
rivers. They're just randomly scattered throughout the world, and I now see people like picking them up and throwing them in the river. I was like, I had no idea you could do that.
Yeah.
You can even start your own habitats. Like so you can collect a bunch of fish from one area and then take it to another area and start your own river and your own habitats. And it's just so
That's
crazy the amount of stuff that you can do in this game. Highlights that I've seen so far is the graphics look amazing. Like you said, your freedom to do stuff. I would say this is one of those games where like the controls were a little clunky for me. Like there was a segment where you had to jump across like sky islands basically. And it was so hard for me to figure that out at first, or like just doing the controls, because they say as you progress, the controls will progress with you kind of in a way.
Yeah.
So they're not easy to catch on to at first, but I guess as the more and more you play it, the easier everything gets. But that was one downfall for me just starting out. It'd be like, I had no idea what these buttons are doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, sales are there, people's hype's there. So yeah, Crimson Desert was one of my picks. It was a clear pick for me. So.
All right. So my next two picks are two games that, just to give a heads up, that I have not played myself. I've relied heavily on reviews and again, fellow YouTubers giving their insight and watching people play these games, to kind of get some knowledge gathered for the show. Number 4, I have 007 First Light. 007 is a game that, when it released on the N64, I'm like, look, I've never really been a fan of the games made after movies and things like that. But this one really set the bar for like shooters, like having friends over, doing golden guns, hiding in the vents. Like it was a little.
You're talking about GoldenEye.
Right? Yeah. It was a little less difficult because everything was played on couch co-op. So if I'm running and hiding in an event, like they know where I'm at.
Yeah, for your old school gamers, I'm sure like screen looking was a term used properly.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Because it was split in half. So player 1's on top screen, player 2's on the bottom screen, and we would say it all the time. You better not be looking at my screen. And,
David was huge on that. Like you're a screen looker. I'm telling mom. Like
a good comeback is it's one screen we gotta share. So
So when this was first announced, there's a couple YouTubers that I follow pretty closely, and they were hyped for this. They put it in like their most anticipated, and it got me kind of hyped. And I was following everything, every trailer, every early reveal of this game. The combat looks great. The weapons, the scenery, the graphics. It just looks like it's kind of nothing will ever scratch that itch that the original GoldenEye kind of did, but this just looks like a lot of fun, and this may be one of the ones that does hang on toward the end of the year, does make it in the top 6, and kind of makes an impact and surprises some people. But from what I've seen and the reviews I've read, this definitely looks like it could be up there.
Yeah, and the story just sounds cool too. It's like, you're playing as James Bond before he became the legend. So, like you're kind of working your way up there. And a cool gameplay mechanic that I heard about this game is, the NPCs walking around will actually question like, what? Did you just jump through that window? Why did you? And you kind of have to come up with like a lie to tell them like, oh yeah, I'm just doing some maintenance or something.
Yeah.
Which in any other game, it's kind of just like the NPCs are just ghost characters.
You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Unless it's Red Dead and you accidentally bump into somebody and you get arrested.
Yeah.
So
5-star wanted, rating
for accidentally walking into somebody.
Yeah. But yeah, 007 looks really fun. All the gadgets are cool and everything. So yeah, that was great. Number 4.
Yep.
My number 4, just kind of going off of you, also a game that I have not played. I believe this company or studio only had one other game before this. I could be wrong, but I know they definitely have Returnal. And the number 4 that I picked is Saros. It came out. Everybody seemed to really, really like it. Returnal was a big game when that came out. Everybody really, really liked it. And the only thing I heard about this is they did that, but, everything's better. Not saying that there was bad stuff in that one, but again, not too much that I know personally about it. I just know the hype was real, the graphics, the story, they say is like really interesting. And if it has the same gameplay style as Returnal, which is basically you start out crashed on this planet and then it's like runs. So you have your first run, you're trying to get to the end boss. Now you can die halfway through that run, but you'll retain some, gear and some stuff halfway through. So the next run is kind of better, but each
Yeah.
run is randomly generated. So this run could be easier or it could be a little bit harder.
Yeah.
But either way, they expect it could be the hardest run ever, but you should still be able to progress through it. Saros, I believe it's around the same concept. I know there's a story behind the world that you're on and why you're there and everything, but I haven't dived into it. It is on my list to play. Looks interesting, looks cool. Excited to see it. If anybody's played it, leave in the comments if it's a shoe-in game of the year. If not,
Yep.
Let us know.
Yep.
Yeah.
So my number 5, I believe, matches your number 5.
Yeah.
Because I haven't heard you say it yet. Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
Yeah.
Another one that you're going to give the real input on. Never played the original. I was never really into the Assassin's Creed stuff. Who doesn't love pirates?
Yeah,
it looks
man.
amazing. The water, the ship battles. You can have a cat.
Yeah, cat or monkey on your ship.
Who doesn't want to do that in a game? You can create your own little village. You can recruit people and stuff like that, it seems. So you've been sending me trailers leading up to this. Every trailer that's come out, letting me know. There's a trailer where you dive off the ship into the water, and then you're swimming underwater, and it becomes that scene where it's not just you underwater. A lot of games, it's an overhead view where it's kind of murky. This is like they spent time. They invested time in showing you what the underwater life looks like. It just looks like something that I will definitely be getting into. It just looks like one of those games where anybody can jump in and have a good time with this.
Yeah, and again, this might be recency bias, and we looked at the recent games that came out this year, but this just stands out. I can't think off the top of my head a game that's been nominated. Maybe Final Fantasy VII, a remake that has been in there for a possible game of the year. So this has a chance. And just going off of numbers, I don't know if you've seen this, but within the first 24 hours, it sold 2 million copies.
Yeah.
And just to put that along other games that sold 2 million copies within the first 24 hours, Crimson Desert also sold that. Elden Ring, Night Rain also sold that within 24 hours. Spider-Man 2, Marvel Spider-Man 2 sold 2.5 million within the first 24 hours.
Yeah,
so it has numbers. A good shot. And yeah, I already talked about some of it earlier before, the opening. It's just a fun game, man. It's open world. So if you're into open worlds, this has one of the best open worlds there are. Yeah, you just hop on your ship. You can, lower the anchor anywhere and jump off your ship into the water. And there's probably something around there to find. You're fighting Templars, if you know the story, kind of. Other pirates. You also have a wanted level in this one. So if your wanted level gets a little too high, pirates will be sent after you to get the bounty and everything. Yep. And yeah, there's a lot to do. Again, I'm only a couple of hours into this one, but I played the original, loved the original. This one seems like I'm going to be playing it just as much as the original so far.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, that's our top 5. If you guys, have any other options that you think should be on here that we didn't pick, please leave them in the comments. But yeah, so if the year ended today, what do you think your game of the year would be out of your 5?
I think out of the games I've played and considering the games I haven't played, I don't see how Resident Evil 9 doesn't get Game of the Year. If the Game of the Year awards were tomorrow, there's no way this game doesn't win, I don't think. I mean, that's just me being a fan, and I'm not trying to put down anybody else's favorite game if they feel differently. This is all about our personal opinions, but I just think this was a very, very well put together game, and I feel like it set itself up to be in that conversation. And I do honestly think that at the end of the year, when there's only 6 games left standing at the Game Awards, I do think this is going to be one of the ones that'll be there.
Yeah. I mean, similar views. I think just looking at my list, that is also my pick.
Yeah.
So, again, no disrespect to any of the other games, but
sorry that wasn't more exciting for you guys.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be better if we had 2 different games, but yeah, I mean, Resident Evil 9, we're both just huge fans of the series. This one does everything that you would want, not just from the series, but from a horror game. It does everything that you would want. Yeah, I mean, if you're into games in general, I can't see how you pick this up and you don't enjoy it. I think Pokemon is for a certain crowd. I think Crimson Desert's open world is for a certain crowd. Saros, the gameplay and the mechanics in that's for a certain crowd. But I think Resident Evil 9 just hits everything. Any gamer can go in there and play and have a good time.
I think that's even one of the kinds of games where if you're with somebody who's not a gamer, like if you have a girlfriend or a wife or a younger sibling or a parent who's not really into gaming, I feel like this game is the kind of game that they would have just as much fun watching you play through.
Yeah.
The jump scares, the environment, I feel like it will be one of those games where it's almost like, if you're not bumping into too many walls or getting lost or stuff like that, it's almost like watching a movie. So I feel like this is one of those things where even if you're not playing it, you could be in a room watching somebody play it. It's going to catch your eye. It's going to draw you in. And I definitely, like I said, I definitely think this will be mentioned at the end of the year when we do Game of the Year awards.
And I would love to hear from the viewers and the people watching. Let us know what your Game of the Year is so far, or just what you think the Game of the Year is going to be this year. I think a lot of people is probably going to say GTA, but Ocarina of Time's coming out later on. If you guys think that's going to win, tell us.
So vote for Ocarina of Time. Everybody knows GTA is gonna do what they're gonna do. Yeah. Let's not give them that. Let's not make it easy for them.
Yeah, your Nintendo fanboy is coming out again, I must say. But yeah, guys, so that was our top 5 and our Game of the Year so far.
Yep. All right, so this game is called the Wavelength game. You've probably seen it on other streamers have done it, other YouTube channels. Basically what it is, you spin this grid, it'll give you a meter. One side is good, one side is bad. It's kind of like a spectrum, like a gauge. We'll give a topic based on what we say. The other person will see what it says, and they'll have to guess something in that range.
Yeah, it's a really fun game. I know we try to come up with a different game at the end of each episode, but this one seems really fun, and we might do this one a few times.
Yep.
If you guys have any interesting, cool topics or ideas for the future, shout them out, and we'll try everything. So.
Yep. So the deal is to 4 turns, try to get to 10 points.
Yep.
So
and Wavelength. So we're brothers. We play a lot of the similar games, different games, but we should be on the same wavelength with this. So for the first topic, I have video game sidekicks. So these are good video game sidekicks, and that is bad video game sidekicks. All right. Oh. Don't look. All right. All right. You can look. Okay. So, video game sidekicks, I would say Final Fantasy VII. So this is clearly excluding Cloud because he's the main. So you have your sides with Tifa, Aerith, Red 13.
Going here.
Right there?
We're going here.
Ooh.
How many points is it?
I moved it a little. I think it was on the yellow. We'll say 2 points.
2 points?
2 points isn't bad.
All right.
At least we weren't completely off. I was a little scared at first because I thought that was like your favorite game of all time, so that's the best sidekicks. But then I was realizing, 9 might have better sidekicks with BB and everything. So, but that was pretty good. All right.
Cool. All right. So mine is good video game controllers, bad video game controllers.
Okay. All right. I'm not looking. Not looking. Got it?
Yep.
All right.
PS5.
Oh, man, the PS5. I really like the PS5. I feel like the PS5 controller and the PS4 controller were really, really good. Do I think there's better? I think like the Wavebird was good. I think it's like pretty much right there. Maybe I'll move it a little. All right, I'm sticking with right there. There we go. Awesome. Is that 4?
That is 3.
Okay. All right. So we got 5 so far. All right.
Yep.
And the goal is to get to 10. So we both got 2 more shots. Get to 10. All right. So my next one is video game vehicles. So this is all the vehicles in one particular game.
Okay.
So this is good video game vehicles, bad video game vehicles. All right, close your eyes. Okay. I'll say Halo 1.
Man, I feel like we're sticking on this side of the spectrum. Oh man, I'm going here.
There? Oh, I did us some disservice here. Oh no. Oh,
come on,
so my
man.
logic was like they gotten better as they went along.
Yeah.
So like, you know, you get those like chopper ones in like the third one.
Yeah.
So like the vehicles just got better. So like, I guess that is a little bit on the bad one. Maybe that was a bad pick on my side, but
Yeah.
well,
all right. See what we can do here.
Yep.
So my next one is good video game character rosters, bad video game character rosters. So that means kind of like all the characters in the game. Like it's from everybody.
Yep.
So
this it's kind of similar to my sidekicks, but I get the main character as well now.
Right.
All right. Not
and
looking.
Everybody else in the game, like from different cities, you know, side characters, stuff like that.
All right. So I don't think we can win now because if we get 4 right on the money, we'd only have 9.
Yeah.
So I say if we get 4 right on the money, we win because you know it's our game and we can do whatever.
I'll take that.
All right. Cool. Let's do it.
All right.
4 on the money.
Oh,
no, that's not a good start.
No, it's just going to be hard to describe this one.
Am I good to see?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, man. Oh.
Just going off of how this game goes, I already kind of know we're probably in one of these areas here. You know? Because it's very much easy to be like, what's the best video game characters? That can go all the way that way. So
yeah, I'm going to
those
go
side areas that gets a little furry.
I'm going to make this difficult. Super Mario Sunshine.
Oh, so you don't want to win. See, for me, that's a bit of an older game. So I remember Mario. I remember the water jetpack. But then I'm trying to think, do I remember a lot of the characters? I know
like
it's like the Hawaiian.
Palm tree people, like the big guys. And
so I think they had cool all-around characters. So I feel like we'd be on this side because they're not bad characters. I don't think any Mario game really has bad characters. But they're not the greatest. But they're not like mediocre. So I think we're like in the middle somewhere. But I think maybe like up here. You know what? I think I'm just gonna go with that. Yeah. I'm gonna go with that right there. Did we win?
Those video game characters were terrible.
Oh my goodness! Oh, I should have let you speak some more.
I should have picked. Something you were more familiar with. So yeah, this is one of those ones that's kind of difficult. I swear we know each other better than this, but that's kind of the fun of it.
Yeah, I mean we'll only get better as we go along. So
yeah. So
we didn't win this week. Again, if you guys have some cool topics or anything for us to try out, you know, we're open ears. But
yeah, and we definitely appreciate again everybody who's liked, commented, subscribed to all of our previous videos. We plan on doing this for a long time. We've got a million ideas. There's a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yep.
You know,
we try not to talk about video games as much now because we're like, save it for the pod. But with that being said, we still just talk about video games.
Yeah, we just want to make a comfortable place for people to come. And if you're at work or if you're in a garage or wherever you're at, you can just throw this on. And hopefully we can help speed some time up for you. This is what we love. This is kind of, you know, our number one main hobby. It's what we do. It's kind of our escape. Hopefully it's, you know, this show can be that for you guys as well. So like I said, just share this, like, comment, subscribe. Let's keep this thing going and growing and, you know, on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, well, you know, see you guys on the next one.
Thank you.
Thanks.